kind of serious, but
What's your definition of Christian nationalism?
no,
So for the listeners, what's Christian nationalism?
Yeah, it's to say it from Joseph's perspective.
yeah,
Joseph R. Matthias. Chilliwack says.
yeah. Christian nationalism would be the conflating of like Christianity with your national pride, so your ethnic background. So it would be saying, yeah, go ahead.
For the people that have, like me, that have the IQ of a small farm animal, what does the word conflating means?
Oh, like bringing together, like
Comparing the two,
Yeah,
synonymous.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, like making him the same thing. So like your national, like someone who's a Christian nationalist would argue that our government should be Christian. That would be like someone who's Christian nationalist would think like at the top levels of government, it should all be Christian. So sometimes you send me reels and I'm like, so I want to call you out like publicly on a podcast. Like, are you kind of a Christian nationalist?
100%.
Well, define how we shouldn't have Christians in government.
I'm not saying that. I think there should be Christians in government. The nuance, it's not just semantics because we're talking about history here, right? There have been times when Christianity was
The government.
and it's never gone well. We're talking like that is what Catholicism was. That is what the Vatican is. That is what Rome went through.
Has it gone better when they don't have it at all? No Christianity in government at all?
I think what the best framework is to think of it like two kingdoms. Like you have all the machinations of our world right now, like empires going up. Like it's relevant to this moment right now because we're in a point in history where we're seeing like tensions among empires. That is true. Like it's amazing time to be alive.
If you like nuclear wars.
Okay, I don't want to go there, but
well, it's coming.
What,
right?
what should
It's
the
coming.
values of a government be based on? Like,
Right.
how does a government know what's right, decide what's right and wrong?
Yeah, well, according to the if you're going to start arguing about like what the U.S. has done, they were out of the Enlightenment, right? So they believed in reasoning and they believed in morals, but you did not have to be a Christian. It was very evident. Most of them were deists, and most of them were leaving like a tyrant Christian nation.
Hold on. Can I stop you? I think what you're comparing, I think you're taking Christian nationalism and comparing it to, when the King of England was also the leader of the church, or that type of era, when the church was the leadership. I guess how I would view Christian nationalism is much more and I'll just paintbrush here because it's so, there again, nothing is black as white as we're beaking off about, but like, it's basically when somebody goes to a church and they say, hey, if you're going to be a member of this denomination, if you're going to be a Christian, you got to vote for this party. You have to vote for this guy. Like this guy is most aligned. Wouldn't you equate that more to Christian nationalism, or is that not how you view it?
I would say that's a development of that would be a byproduct of Christian nationalism.
You would call that a byproduct.
Yeah, I don't think that is Christian nationalism. I mean, maybe I'm having a hard time like defining it because maybe it is better to say it in like the just everyday examples, because I think that would be a good example of it.
That's, I guess, how it plays out in our society. Well, that is happening. We would all agree that's happening.
Like there is credible reports that like even the war or the operation in Iran, I should be specific, like it's not a war, right? It's an operation, epic fury. But some people have said that generals were saying like this is us ushering in the Armageddon. Like this is something in which we are ordained to do. Like the God's on our side.
Do you think the government should?
That's problematic, right?
Yeah, that is. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Our guests from last week would disagree.
Would they?
They would.
They're
I would
ushering
love
the
to have that
Armageddon
debate.
in?
I think.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the idea of wars, operations into other countries never become redeemed or scoured until years later.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, everybody has an opinion instantly. And even those of us like myself, I would fall into a camp where I could totally see the justification in the sense of, hey, there's some awful things happening there that all of us in the Western world think are awful. But I think it's very scary to say, hey, arbitrarily one country gets to go take military action in another country. Like, imperialism in that sense is somewhat frightening to me for the sake of, well, first of all, we're from a very small country in Canada that has no military.
Yeah.
So, I just don't, I don't feel like we have any strength as our own country of defending our own autonomy and freedom, if it ever came to that. And then at a deeper level, I'm thinking, hey, who gets to play God here? And political leaders don't make great gods. And that's what I feel happens when the leader of the free world.
That's what happens in like a lot of churches in America. They'll be like Trump and Christianity go together.
Well, that to me is Christian nationalism.
That's Christian
Would you not
nationalism.
agree?
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be the actual outworking.
Yeah, and that's what I was
Yeah, so I'm
protesting
against that.
against. Was seemed like you were advocating for it.
No,
So-
no,
not
okay,
at
okay,
all.
yes,
I've never
okay,
advocated
yes.
that. I advocate though for Christian values in government.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
we would all agree with
semantically,
that.
that's fine.
We would all agree with that.
Like
Semantically, that's
but you also need it as a basis for your morals, because now, because people don't have a foundation anymore, you can decide what life is valuable, what's not, right? Like I went to the pro-life, the Cherish Project dinner last week, and talking about how many Canadians have died. I think it's 100,000 Canadians have almost died from MAID.
Oh
now.
yeah, I saw the
It's
article.
insane.
27%
Yeah.
of deaths in Canada are from abortion or from assisted suicide.
Yeah.
that is
Like,
insane.
it comes from a lack of belief that life is valuable,
Sure.
right? Which we know it is because of God's word. So am I a Christian nationalist because I believe that, and I believe our political leaders should be like valuing life accordingly? No, but I would also never say, hey, if you're a Christian, you need to vote for X, Y, Z. It's just no. You vote for what the word of God you believe closest. What candidate is closest to that?
Right.
I guess my question is, Kyle, would you not agree that there's people that are non-Christians that make amazing leaders and have a great moral compass despite the fact that they're not a Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah, and inversely, Christians who would make
That are
terrible
horrible
leaders
people.
and
Exactly.
morally,
So that's why I feel, I just
or
feel like
nominal
that
Christians,
idea.
I should say.
Yeah, or like if somebody says to me, "Oh, we have a Christian business," or he's a Christian businessman. It's like, no, just like do the right, like whatever defines you, but like just, what does the right thing mean? And like I run an auction where there's, 1,000 shysters on one side selling stuff and 1,000 shysters on the other side buying. I'm jesting. I mean, most people are top notch, but
And Gary's like, I'm going to skim off the middle. I'm going to get
there's
both
enough criminals
sides.
here that I should be able to do
All
some of
right.
that too. No, but it's the idea of like, you see, listen, in that environment, you see total depravity.
Yes.
Like you see amazing people that do
Yeah.
the wrong thing because they get in a jammer and the money's squeezing them. Like it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
And you get into these discussions with people and you realize that people that have no moral compass as far as the word of the Lord and understanding of what God's values are in their life, they're literally, for lack of a better, I won't even say the term, but they're doing the right thing. Let's put it that way. And then you'll see somebody that, whether they may not even be a believer, but a lot of them are believers, and they still really screw up, myself included, done really awful things. You think, wow. So like the idea of government, like the idea of Christian government per se, or having the idea of utopia, if we just had the right person in power,
That's
is a
never gonna
fictitious dream.
Yeah.
And it's disillusional.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think it
That's what
does a
Israel
disfavor to what we have. Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
Israel
they were
wanted.
looking for the true
That's
king
what
that
is
would.
what?
Israel wanted, right?
They
When
wanted
the
to be
Messiah
relieved
coming,
of
they
the
still want it,
Roman-
I guess
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Well, it's still we're still
They
talking
want their earthly kingdom.
This rhetoric is still pervasive, like in our empires, and I think. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have a dumb question.
Yeah.
So like I'm reading through Leviticus and now I'm into Numbers here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do Jews today, like typical, like practicing Jews?
Yeah. Orthodox.
I
Jews.
should know this question. So
Yeah.
do they not read the New Testament then? Do they only read the Old
They
Testament?
do not read the Old.
They do not read the New Testament.
That's
Right.
not-
So
it's
what
not-
do
it's
they
not a
think
Bible.
it is?
It's not a thing.
It's literally not a thing.
No.
No.
It's not the fulfillment of the promises. It's not the prophetic fulfillment.
So do they ever read it and look
they're
at
still
all
waiting
the
for
words?
the Messiah.
Okay, I get that, but like,
Yeah.
are they not reading and seeing all the references to Isaiah and all the things?
No.
No. Isaiah 53 is a
Yeah.
reference to Israel, according to Orthodox Judaism. It's not a reference to Jesus. Which
We
is
just read it the
fascinating
other
because
day.
It's like
It's
so
literally-
clearly
yeah.
Jesus, but it is to steal man it. Read it again and think.
I just read Isaiah 53 2 days ago.
Or read it again and think of it in terms of
what?
Israel being personified. Israel as
country?
was often personified because it was Jacob wrestled with God
Yeah.
and became Israel. And often Isaiah is like talking as if Israel is like a person. So I've asked that exact question. What do they do with Isaiah 53? It's that it's about Israel. It's not
Okay.
about. Yeah.
I guess there's probably a big number